Welcome back. All right, so quick news of the day video for you now today. And really, the discussion from yesterday into today has all been about Robin Lehner, right? So Robin Lehner came out and made some claims. And people are like, can you back those up? And I'll say this for Robin Lehner. He responds to people who answer his tweets. He's basically decided that due to the Jack Eichel situation, he's going to start talking about things that have been going on in the NHL. And this is where things get kind of, I don't know if dicey is the right word for it, but interesting at the very least. So this stuff has gone on, he says, throughout his career, and I'm surprised other players haven't spoken up before. No players have spoken up to deny it. Now also, Dan Carcillo, who's been very outspoken about the treatment of players, also said that Steve Montador, after his 19th concussion, got proper treatment, and he had to go outside of the team doctors in order to get a proper diagnosis and properly treated. And then when he was cleared to play, the Chicago Blackhawks sent Montador to the AHL, which Lehner believes, or was the Sabres, which Lehner believes was, no, Hawks, right? Because Carcillo and Lehner are, keep this straight. So Carcillo said that Montador was sent down by the Hawks, and he believed that was as punishment because he got an opinion outside of the team doctors. And so you put these things together where Lehner's saying, look, the Eichel situation needs to be resolved, or I'm going to start talking. And he gets talking about how the league, he believes, abuses opioids, in that the teams are handing them out without any kind of a prescription, and they're just giving them out. And these are the type that can be highly addictive. And so this is, and again, nothing is said yesterday that we haven't talked about before on this channel. And that, I've discussed before how the NHL does kind of treat players like they're cattle, they're paid for, and do whatever you got to do. You get the player back out on the ice, and then when their body breaks down, well, and then you move on. And so what Lehner's saying here all feeds into that, which we've heard from former players. Remember, there was a whole concussion lawsuit that was settled out of court, and kind of that went away. And that's kind of how that works, right? And so, yeah, Lehner comes out and speaks, and yes, there are definitely other things with Lehner that I've disagreed with over the years, but he says he's going to tell a story every day. He has not told his story yet today, but he says he has plenty of them. And he basically threw Alain Vigneault under the bus. People on Twitter immediately made the connection between Alain Vigneault and Nolan Patrick, because if Robin Lehner knows about stuff going on in the Flyers organization, this would have to come from Nolan Patrick, right, who just joined Vegas. So, if Vigneault's been doing something untoward, and through Nolan Patrick it's exposed, and then there was another source that goes to like media reports that other sources were saying, yeah, the whole Nolan Patrick thing, that happened. So the NHL is reaching out to Lehner today, apparently, and they want to talk to him about what he knows and what's going on. And I don't know if he's going to get told to zip it as well, because he won't. And so I do wonder where this goes from here. But yeah, so Robin Lehner is basically the big news story today. It's been trending on Twitter through yesterday, still trending now. And it's a discussion, and it is a discussion to be had about what a player's rights are when it comes to seeking medical treatment for injury. And whether or not team doctors, and this isn't just a Buffalo thing or a Chicago thing, this is something we've heard from rumblings. I mean, rumblings have existed going back to as long as I've watched hockey, about maybe a doctor misdiagnosing something or something going wrong somewhere, and players kind of being led down the wrong path, and then you end up getting the right surgery later. And so this is an issue that I think the league needs to take a look at. And Lehner as well says, where's the NHLPA on this? And the NHLPA is going to be collecting their dues, and absolutely, this is a union that I think needs to step up a little bit in some way, because the Eichel situation is, I think, well, yeah, I know people are kind of tired of it. The Eichel situation is one that I think it is just one of the more public examples of what goes on in the world of hockey. So we'll see how far this goes and whether or not Lehner says anything today and what goes on from here. And I know that there are people who don't like Robin Lehner, but nobody's disputing what he said. There's no players coming out and going, I don't know what he's talking about. So you would think that if there was nothing to this, that he would maybe pull down some of these statements. That hasn't happened. But again, I made sure he hasn't made any other statements yet today. He might. So we're not even starting the season, and already between all the Evander Kane talk and now Robin Lehner as well, and the Eichel situation, there are some controversies in the National Hockey League right now. Moving on to not as controversial of topics. The Canucks have made the official in the deals with Pettersson and Hughes. Hughes' contract over 6 years, it mostly goes up and then it drops to, I think, $8.2 million in the last year of the deal. But since it walks Hughes to UFA status, it's not as important how much money he makes every year unless you're Francesco Aquilini. As fans, we just look at the cap hit. But the Pettersson deal, because he's a restricted free agent at the end of it, it makes a difference. So the money is either 2.6 or 3 million. I'm going with the 3 million that Drager's reporting. 7.8 million the next year, which is 2022-2023, and then $10.25 million in 2023-2024. So his qualifying offer, thanks to Clay for posting this on Twitter as well, because there was some discussion about, so how much is his qualifying offer? Qualifying offer is 120% of the annual value of the contract. This changed in the collective bargaining agreement. It used to be that it was that last year. So if you made a lot of money that last year, that contract, your qualifying offer goes through the roof. The qualifying offer for Pettersson will be $8.82 million. The problem is, this contract leaves him 1 year short of UFA status. Now, I know there's Canuck fans who, and I think this is the inferiority complex that some fans have with teams. It's not just Vancouver. Is that you look at this and you go, great. So then he just takes his qualifying offer and he leaves as a UFA, and then we're going to lose Hughes. I tend to look at it from a different perspective. It behooves the Vancouver Canucks to make sure they've got the best team possible to make sure that Pettersson isn't a free agent in 4 years' time. And so if they're competitive, if they're going for a Stanley Cup, he'll want to sign a long-term extension. I find the whole thing weird, like when he said during the summer that he wanted to play somewhere where he had a chance to win the Cup. And some of Vancouver fandom took offense, and I thought, isn't that why they play hockey? Shouldn't he want to win a Stanley? Shouldn't he want to be part of winning a Stanley Cup? And shouldn't the Canucks be aiming to make that happen in Vancouver? So I just find that weird when somebody says, well, when my contract's up, I want to play somewhere where I have a chance to win. And they go, he's saying he doesn't have a chance to win now. No, he's not. He's saying in 3 years' time, if things aren't going well here, I may very well look elsewhere. And that's your right as a player getting to unrestricted free agency. Ottawa made a couple of interesting moves in their cuts, but they're understandable. So Bernard Docker as well as Lassie Thompson are among the cuts. You're going to see guys get cut who've had good preseasons. You're going to see pretty high-profile prospects get cut too, because they don't have to clear waivers and because it doesn't hurt a team to put them in the AHL to start the season. Start with a team of veterans as much as you can, and then if there's an injury or something happens, you can bring them up during the year. So it makes some sense to me to decide to move guys down who might be higher profile. It doesn't mean that they're busts. It doesn't mean that they're not good. Bernard Docker looked really good towards the end of the year last year. I don't think he's going to be in the minors for long. But there are times where at this time of year, people will overreact to who's kept on the team and who's sent down. A lot of the times it's just, we'll send these players down because they get that time in the AHL and we don't have to worry about losing somebody on waivers. Interesting with Boston's preseason, and this is where the preseason matters. Linus Ullmark has struggled. He has struggled mightily so far in his preseason. It doesn't mean that Boston's looking to get rid of him or anything, but it does mean that Jeremy Swayman may very well be the opening night goaltender for the Boston Bruins, and it might cause a little bit more discussion between Don Sweeney and Tuukka Rask about signing a deal. So I'm hoping Ullmark can overcome this. I think he can. He's a good, talented goaltender, but we'll see. And if Swayman's the starter, I'm not overly concerned, and I know that's odd because he's only got a 7-3 record in his entire career. But I like Swayman. I think he's a good goaltender. And if Boston has a bit of a fallback this year, I don't know. I don't think that would necessarily be the worst thing for Boston either. So, anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I have a funny feeling that we will be discussing Lehner again soon. Soon could be later today, could be tomorrow. But I'm going to say pretty good chance it'll be at least over the next few days. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And I will talk to you again soon.